They literally will walk in and like pull up something from their our ad in their Facebook feed and was like, if I see you guys one more time on my Facebook feed, I'm going to have a fit.
And we're back. Welcome to the latest episode of Commerce and Chill. I am Jessica Johnson Cope.
I'm Waleed.
What's good, Waleed?
Life.
Tell me about it.
Working, man. What's going on?
Oh my gosh, you're out the gate with the F-bomb.
I'm sorry. So this is the week. Let's go. We got work to do.
Why you have so much work to do?
Let's see. 2.5 businesses, maybe 3.
So while Cope is focused on the dirty draws, I'm going to tell you what we're going to talk about today. Today, we're going to share some advice for people who may be new in business, may be established, may be thinking about making that transition from being employed to being an entrepreneur. I want to talk to you about how you market yourself in the course of marketing your business. New business marketing. How do you find effective advertising and promotion strategies? Go.
Well, I think they're different things.
Okay.
So if you're talking about like marketing, promotions, or like sales, just 3 different things.
Yes.
To me, sales is closing the deal.
Right.
Like I'm just trying to sell you something, whether it's a reoccurring sale or it's a one-time thing, like real estate. I sold a property. It was one time. I wish they were buying them on numerous bases, but no, one person buy it and be done, unless they were like an investor, then that was a different story. Then there's promotion is something, short term where you're incentivizing somebody to do something
Right.
with something. So if I'm having a promotion, like it's half off because we need to clear out a bunch of old inventory.
Right.
It's a promotion, 50% off, get this stuff off my shelves.
So I'm going to take a kind of different slant on
Marketing.
promotion.
You said pollution?
On promotion.
Oh.
Because we look at we've talked about marketing a little bit in the past, but not necessarily on the promotion part. And when we look at the etymology of the word promotion, like if you break it down into its parts, pro means forth, through, motion means move. In the 14th century, the word promotion was used in terms of advancement in rank, honor, or position from Old French, election or promotion. Modern French, or directly from the Latin promotionem, which is a nominative pronoun, means advancement or moving forward. So to me, promotion is something that may be perpetual, like it continues to happen. And you think about that in your voyage as an entrepreneur, that you don't just get started, you get started and you keep moving forward. So as you talk about yourself and your business, and you want to move forward in terms of your status, promotions are a way that you can do that. All right. So marketing, promotion.
Yeah. So marketing was the last one. So to me, marketing is something that's consistent. It's ongoing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, whether it's your marketing, the service, the business as a whole, I don't know, an individual at the business, but it marketing to me encompasses, all the aspects, and it's constantly going. It's continuous.
All aspects of what?
Whatever you're doing with your business, you're trying to get more brand awareness. You're trying to get more exposure to the services or the products you provide. It's an ongoing, consistent thing. And it could be broken up into chunks, the way I look at it. So it could be campaigns. So it's like these marketing campaigns where you're focused on this particular aspect of the business or bringing awareness during this campaign, some kind of, ads or commercial, and then it leads to the next thing. But it's a continuing process of exposure.
Okay. Exposure. So people want exposure for their businesses, right? We often get calls from entrepreneurs about their businesses because they want additional exposure. So can you kind of talk to the people in Commerce and Chill land? I'm sorry, we just jumped all into the subject, about self-promotions. How do they put themselves out there and expose themselves personally to help increase positive exposure to their businesses?
You said, how does the individual do it to get more attention for their business?
Yes, exactly.
It depends on the individual. You're an introvert or you're an extrovert. How you want to put yourself out there to get attention for your business. And maybe you don't want to put yourself out there personally to get attention for your business. You just want to have the business out in the forefront getting the attention. But if you're doing it personally, I mean, you could start as simple as, you have a personal, social media, whether it's like LinkedIn or whatever, Facebook, TikTok, and you could put in your bio on your personal social that you are the founder, CEO, whatever your title is, of this type of business, which would pique people's curiosity when they visit your bio to be like, oh, what is that? And they click on it and go to that. I mean, and that's very, simplistic and very low key, simple way to start. Or you post things about your business on your personal social. You put it in your feed or your timeline to make people aware of, what you do and what kind of services or products you provide.
So let's make it personal. So we've been rocking out with the soapbox, the laundromat business for 6 years now. When we first got started,
damn, 6 years. Go ahead.
So we just getting started. Just getting started.
Time sure flies.
So when we first started, how did you market, advertise, and promote the services that the soapbox offered to the public?
So in the beginning, we had just started. We were able to build off some of the exposure from the store because the soapbox was born from our traditional self-service laundromat where we were doing drop-off service and people were walking in. And then we spun it off to say we're going to separate the service part, not the delivery, the drop-off service part of the business from the walk-in service because it was 2 different experiences for 2 different types of clients. So we wanted to have each one focus directly on that specific clientele. So there was some exposure from that because people were just like, oh, you made this new place across the street just for us versus going into the laundromat. Now we don't have to, bump into people who are doing their own laundry or wait for the attendant to finish helping somebody with, a machine that's not operating correctly. So they spread the word of mouth. But that was, very local. People who are within walking distance, mostly a few people drove, shout out to some of our clients who drive all the way from Long Island. Thanks, Sly, to come all the way to, Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn to drop off their laundry on a regular basis. First thing we did was look at what was free because we weren't trying to, blow a whole bunch of money because we just put the money into renovating the space. Even though we did it on the low, we did a very simple build out and put money into, equipment. And we had to hire additional personnel too because we have people working on both sides of the street now. So we need to be as lean as possible. So the first thing we did was look at what was free. What could we do that would get us exposure that was free? So we went to all the review pages, the major ones, Yelp, Google My Business. We filled out all the information, like the hours, like the contact information, et cetera, et cetera. And I'll stick with Google My Business and Yelp. That was the first thing we did. They are totally free. So we claimed all those. And then Google My Business and a few others you can post on. So we would put information there. We used social media, Facebook and Instagram. We used Instagram more than Facebook. And we just started posting stuff that was going on in the store. I had no clue of what to do. Sometimes I still don't. And we just posted and people started engaging. People started following us. And before we knew it, we had 3,000-4,000 followers. And people were DMing us and was like, yeah, what about this with laundry? And what about that?
So at what point did you actually start spending money?
So I would say sometime in the early phases of the soapbox, we started spending money on Facebook ads. That was the beginning and had really no clue, watched some YouTube videos and read some stuff. And I was like, if we spend $50, what's the worst that could happen? Nothing happens. And we just blow $50. So I was like, F it. I'm pressing a button. I ran an ad, figured out some of the drill downs in the ad, how specific you could get, and just chose the neighborhood that the store was in and within walking distance. Cause I think the first ad we ran was for the store for drop-off service. So we weren't doing delivery at that time. So we just did it. The radius of people would walk 10 blocks or whatever, or drive to the store. And people started interacting and leaving comments. And I was like, oh shit, maybe this really works. I mean, I knew it worked because I've seen other people do it. I've read stuff about it, but sometimes you see this other stuff and you're just like, will that really work for my type of
Will
business?
work for me, right?
Right.
That's the
And
question.
it's, and most of the business I saw doing it weren't in the laundry and dry cleaning business, which is, it's what we do is it's a funky space.
But there's a big hustle if you're in the laundry or dry cleaning business. Like people will come for your dollars to advertise and promote and market your business. And sometimes they don't know that much more than you do.
Yeah. So we realized that we were getting some traction besides the comments and the interaction when people started DMing us and saying, how do I place an order? No, actually, they didn't say, how do I place an order? They would DM us and be like, can you come get my clothes now? I'm like, it's 12:30 a.m. You really need to go to our website and place an order. And they were like, cool. I sent them the link and they would make an order. But where it really got in me, and I was like, yeah, this shit is really powerful, is when people started ringing the bell just like that. Is when people started walking into the store, not to come do laundry, but to complain. And I was like, what? They literally would walk in and like pull up something from their our ad in their Facebook feed and was like, if I see you guys one more time on my Facebook feed, I'm going to have a fit. And like they were like kind of jokingly like complaining, but not in like a, a super bad way. And I was like, wow, this is like kind of powerful because they can see us in a place where they're consuming stuff that whether they do for fun or for business or whatever their motive is to be on social. And we heard a couple people say it and I was just like, yeah, let's do more. But it's tricky because you got to, drill down and figure out the interest, who you're going to target. Then there's the whole creative piece and then the copy. So it ain't easy, but you got to keep playing with it, but it's worked.
Like, so just for the record, I have a master's degree in market research and like spent time in the classroom with professors trying to understand how to be more effective in marketing and how to, the science behind marketing and advertising. Don't ask me any of that stuff now. But it does make a difference. And I think that potentially it has had an impact in how I market and myself personally, because especially as a small business owner, our personal brands kind of tie into our business brands. Now that might not always be the case depending on the nature of your business and who you're serving. But for us, I know like when they think the soapbox, they think Waleed. When they think Johnson Security, they often think Jessica. But
often. They always say Jessica.
No, it's not.
But
they think Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, true. But you bring up a point. Your personal brand is important. And what I've seen lately, which is I think is a good move for business owners to do, if you have a business profile, a business presence on social, and then you have your personal presence, depending what you're posting on social, mine is a little fiery at times because I am known to drop a few F-bombs here and there. And some people, they're like, oh, they're cool with it. It doesn't bother them. And other people are like, yeah, that's not my thing. And I totally respect it. But what I realized and been practicing is people will go to the brand profile for the soapbox on social and like they'll tag us or they'll take pictures of, their laundry or dry cleaning, sneakers, etc. And then they repost it and they post it in their stories or their feed. And we'll go on as a soapbox and respond to them and say, thanks, whatever, emoji, like heart. And like really thank them or DM them and send them a message to say, thanks. We appreciate you sharing to your community about the experience you had with us. But I found there's been some power in, I don't know, breaking the wall between the business and personal. So then I see that on the soapbox. I'll go back to my personal profile and then go to that person's profile who left the comment or, posted their experience with us. And I personally thank them. And like, I appreciate you sharing your experience with, our business or our team members. And, it becomes this, I don't want it, this like humification, like making it more human. Like I'm just making shit up.
Humanizing,
there you go. That's why you're the etymology lady. You're humanizing the business, Like you have the brand have its voice, but and the brand interacts with people. But then when you kind of break that wall as, you know, a team member there, or a, you know, a founder, whatever, and you interact with people to say, you know what, like, we appreciate what you did, you know, thank you, or whatever. I see you're doing this other thing over here. You know, how can we get involved to support? You know, it looks like a great cause. It just takes away the, you know, the commercial aspect of it and makes it more of a connection.
But as you've probably heard time and time again, people buy from people they know, like, and trust. And if they feel like your brand is so much different from you as an individual, or so remote from you, that might be cause for them not to buy from you. And so the more they can relate to you as a person, the more likely they are to consider your brand, its products and services to purchase. And I think that that's something that I've realized even more so over this past year, where we've been locked up with COVID. Because even though, you know, people had to stay home, we were yet working. And while we were working, we were creating content, we were posting, we were letting people know what we were doing. And because we were consistent with that, you know, I had countless people call and say, oh, I see what you're doing this, you're doing that. And now you see more examples of the organizations where I volunteer asking me to step up in my service. So, okay, you're on this committee. Can you be on 2 additional committees? Can you write us an op-ed or opinion editorial piece? If yes, people still read newspapers, but they also have online op-eds. Speaking to things that interest us individually and things that interest us as a business. And that's given me an even stronger platform to promote what Johnson Security is doing. So, for example, we're in the process of reviewing a draft on some work that we're doing with young people around braided work experience. So, in many cases, the educational system is not properly equipping our young people. And so we're working with some of our partners like at Here to Here and the New York CEO Council to encourage the school system to incorporate more work-based learning. And that will benefit us as employers, but it'll also benefit our community and the community at large. And so to lend my voice as an employer, then there are some people who may not have been familiar with Johnson Security. When they read that op-ed, they may now go to our website and say, oh, look, they have these kind of jobs. They've been around for a long time, and they're trying to make a difference in the next, in the workforce of the future. So like different little things like that don't cost a lot can also help you promote, advertise, and market your personal brand, and can lead to positive results for your business brand as well.
Okay.
So what are some tips that you have for new business owners about marketing themselves to grow their businesses?
Okay. So just going back to what you said, you saying tying your personal has worked for you during the COVID, especially
right
into the business.
Right.
So what ways you look to market, let's use JSB, when you tie it into your personal? Like, how do you just be like, yo, I'm Jessica, check out JSB?
Well, you know, if you've been to my LinkedIn profile, you say Jessica Johnson Cope, the security lady. So if you didn't know, now you know I do security. And then that might pique your interest to be like, okay, what kind of security? And then you see the different things that I do, like being on a security guard advisory council, or how we were recently featured. Yes, apologize. Last week in the middle of the podcast, I got a call. And we ended up being featured in an article by Megan Cerullo at CBS Market Watch regarding the increase in vaccine-related jobs. And so if you see that piece, you see that Johnson Security is putting people to work in healthcare environments and helping to with the distribution of the COVID-19 vaccine. So it gives me a little bit of shine as an employer to lend my voice to her story, but it also gives the company some shine. Is that a good example?
It is. I mean, it ties back to what we said earlier. Just taking something as simple as your bio on some platform that you're spending time on and making sure you incorporate your business in it somehow. That makes sense for the users. You're not being all spammy and selly, or, you know, I don't want to say used car salesman. I think they get a bad rap. But, you know, you're just not being all spammy and salesy, which
spammy and salesy. Don't be spammy.
don't
and
be
salesy.
spammy and salesy. I just was on somebody else's Instagram. She had posted about it, and her name escapes me now, and I feel so bad. But we were talking about we were having a dialogue in the comments about, you know, people just. She made a post saying, the reason you aren't selling more is because you keep selling, and I was like, you know, I find it very annoying when people just try to sell me, especially if I reach out to them. Right. So if I'm reaching out to you, clearly I have some interest in your product.
Right.
So half the battle is already won for you because I reached out to you about the product, and I have some specific questions. So how about answering them versus, you know,
it's a great start,
calling me all the time or sending me emails and trying to convert me versus answering my questions, and I'll convert my damn self. Because I'm already interested in your product. I called you, you didn't call me.
Right.
So yeah, that's just a little 2 cents for, you know, people. And, you know, I did sales, 100% commission. So
you did sales or you sold?
I did both. I worked in sales and I sold.
Okay.
I sold shit. I sold a lot of shit. I worked 100% commission. Did it for years in real estate. So, you know,
you didn't sell shit. You sold homes.
Some of them were. You should have saw them.
They may have been in bad condition.
They were.
You didn't market it and on the flyer put open house piece of shit. No, that's not how it works. Come on.
I was like, bring your contractor. It's really shit inside. No, I'm just kidding. But, you know, and I say that jokingly to say, like, in sales, I believed in putting all the cards on the table. When I was selling something, if the house, I'm selling the property and it was going to be occupied or it had a non-paying tenant in it. Like, I told people that. Like, I wasn't trying to get people all the way to the closing table and they'd be like, oh, so these 2 tenants still going to be in the building? Yeah. And they'd be like, nah, deal's off. Versus, oh, no, how many emails did I send you? We talked about that when you first visited the property. Actually, I talked about it when you called me on the phone about setting up the viewing appointment. So, yeah. Anyway,
I'll add these just
sales.
a quick point with respect to sales and having those conversations. We were recently listening to the Micro Famous podcast, Matt Johnson, no relation. And one of the things I ear hustled while you were listening to it, he said something to the effect of, we keep saying different things to the same people when we should be saying the same things to different people. Do you remember that? Did you hear that?
Yeah, he was like,
and basically,
wait, say that one more time.
We keep saying different things to the same people when we should be saying the same thing to different people.
Yeah, that's right.
So how I interpret that, and you can correct me if I misunderstood since I was ear hustling, is that it's easy for us to have conversations about ourselves and our businesses with people who already know us. And so we're always talking about what's next, what's new. However, where you can niche down and be more successful in promoting yourself and your business is to have conversations with a different set of people who may not be familiar with you or your brand, and just keep repeating the same messages, because it takes people typically 7 times hearing a message before it resonates. Just like you might not see a car, like you might not notice a brand of car, make, model of car until you've seen it like 7 times. You might not be familiar with the song until you've heard it at least 7 times. And so I say that to say, as you go out and market to yourself, it's good to be introduced to different audiences, to different people, to different organizations with a consistent message, because that's more likely to get you results than if you're always talking to the same people but trying to change up the message all the time.
Well,
is that what you took away from it?
Well, that absolutely. And then the other piece is if I'm saying the same message to different people, it has a twofold effect. It has numerous effects, but I'm just going to use these 2. One, I'm getting exposed to more people. So now my brand, or, you know, whatever it is, product, service, whatever I'm putting out there, just, you know, my personal brand or profile, whatever the case might be, I'm introducing it to a wider array of people. So now I'm getting more and more exposure. But here's the other piece that comes with it too, is if you're saying the same thing to different people, you get to master and refine that message that you're delivering over and over and over to different people.
Right.
So now you're fine tuning it. So if I'm saying the same thing all the time, I'm gonna like, this would sound better. Let me add this. Let me tweak this. And then as I deliver it to more and more people, I get better. And whatever your goal is, you're trying to convert people or make sales, whatever the case might be. In theory, your rate should increase because you're getting better with your delivery, and you're reaching newer audiences. You're reaching more people.
And that's one of the reasons why social in general, but any type of marketing and advertising can be beneficial to you personally as well as to your business. And so some of the relevant statistics that we found from Digital Marketing Magazine, 1 in 5 small businesses don't utilize digital marketing. So you think of the number of people that you're missing by virtue of just not being on social. And 1 in 10 small businesses don't invest in marketing at all. 41% of local businesses use social media to drive revenue. 74% of consumers rely on social media to guide purchasing decisions. And 96% of small businesses that invest in marketing say they use social marketing in their marketing decisions. I mean, the marketing strategy.
What was the first one you said?
1 in 5 small businesses doesn't utilize digital marketing. So that's 25%, 20% off the bat.
Of small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
So when they say digital marketing, I'm really interested. Are they talking about like just an online presence, using social, whatever? But I'm going to assume when they say digital marketing, they're talking about the whole shebang.
Shebang.
So that is so disturbing for me, and it's so scary. And I, not just as a statistic, but I've seen it. Like I know of numerous small business owners who are like,
I don't advertise.
Who are colleagues or
I don't do social.
They have no website. They have very low digital presence. Mm-hmm. They even still use the email address like AOL or like Yahoo.
mybusiness@aol.com.
Yeah, like Joe, sorry, Joe. Let me not say Joe the plumber. But whatever business.
Joe's Extermination at yahoo.com.
Like, it can just make such a huge difference for you. That's really scary, 1 in 5. But yeah, those stats, like we really need to do something about that, small businesses.
So here are 4 quick tips based on our discussion today on how you can both promote and advertise yourself to market and grow your business. Number 1, start with the free options. Use reviews such as Yelp and Google, claim your Google page, and also use social. Number 2, don't be spammy or salesy. Just be you, be authentic. People want to see who the real you is. And so let that shine through in your strategy. Number 3, master your message. Have a consistent message to a wide audience for best exposure. And number four, which really should be number 1, leverage digital marketing such as a website and social media, so that you can not only tell your story, but you can braid your story into that of your business for business success. Chief, anything that you want to add in closing today?
Yeah, just get rid of the AOL and the Gmails and the Yahoo email addresses for your business people. Even if you don't want to build a website right now, just go buy an email box. Get the domain for your business. It just makes a huge difference.
It does. And I'll say this, if there are any aspiring small business owners or
get on Google My Business,
new entrepreneurs that are trying to understand how you can best market yourself en route to marketing your business, hit us up, DM us, hit us in the comments, and subscribe to Commerce and Chill, and we will definitely follow up with you. We had a wonderful dinner the other night with Paula McCarthy of YSSU Saving. What?
What? Go ahead.
The water lady. Man, let me tell you, it was great. Anyway, that could be you. You might not be the next water lady, but you can be the best you can be. And if we can help you, we'd love to do that. So in closing, this has been Commerce and Chill. I'm Jessica Johnson Cope.
Waleed.
And we hope to see you soon.